Jurassic Park, Aliens, Indiana Jones, Fast and Furious, Harry Potter and the Wizarding World, Terminator, Star Wars, Ghostbusters. These are franchises most of us would agree have gone on for too long. The most recent example of this is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. You know why studios think it's a great idea to drag out these once beloved franchises? It's because of the moolah. In some cases, they make a smart decision by greenlighting another sequel, and in other cases, it's the worst idea ever. If their newest sequel fails at the box office, they have to make a decision. Should they attempt another film or hang up the franchise for a while? Because we all know an IP never actually dies. But why can they never stay dead? Well, someone always gets the smart idea to bring a franchise back to life that died years ago. Hollywood runs out of ideas constantly after all, so why not just make a new version of something old for the millionth time? For instance, even though Terminator Dark Fate did poor money-wise, I can guarantee one day an executive will craft a new movie. That's just how it is. Never once has an IP been revived for the right reasons. All they do is look at past numbers and hope by announcing a new flick, fans will be as excited for the new one as people were when these franchises started in the 80s. When it comes to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, it's an enigma. Ghostbusters Afterlife did fine, I guess, at the box office, but I can't imagine they brought in huge returns. Either way, they made a sequel in Frozen Empire, and if it does well enough, they'll make this a trilogy, and down the line, probably greenlight some spin-off TV series. Because what is a movie franchise without its share of TV shows in 2024? But as a film, what does Frozen Empire bring to the table exactly? What's nice about the movie is it takes place in New York, and classic characters such as Stantz, Zedmore, and Venkman get a solid amount of screen time. So really, the best aspect of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is nostalgia. Don't get me wrong, I like the new characters introduced in Afterlife as well. I have no complaints about their casting decisions, but story-wise, they don't reinvent the wheel. In every Ghostbusters film, they start out by capturing random ghosts, some exposition dumps about the godlike ghostly villain are told, shit begins hitting the fan, and the finale sees our Ghostbusters take on the villain. Frozen Empire does nothing differently. Simply put, this sequel is a formulaic addition to the franchise. At least in Afterlife, there was this big mystery factor and some very touching moments at the end, but we don't get any of that in Frozen Empire. Sure, it's cool to see the original characters fighting ghosts in New York City again. It certainly makes me wonder why they didn't just make a send-off Ghostbusters 3 in the first place though, instead of the 2016 film and the soft reboot sequels. So Frozen Empire is just kind of nostalgia bait at best. This now brings me to a new question. Even if Frozen Empire makes a profit, does it mean they should continue the franchise with another installment? The reviews aren't great, and nobody seems like they want more Ghostbusters. The only reason it's making money is because of its name and cast. I'm not even sure what else they could do with a third installment here. If you make a new movie, what, you'll just tell the same story again? We know what this franchise is. By now, they've hit a brick wall. There isn't a lot of room for something new unless they completely change Ghostbusters from the Ghostbusters we know. The heart and soul is the original Four Horsemen. Without them, I don't see this franchise ascending to new heights. And at this point, why would Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, or Ernie Hudson want to return? As far as I know, a great franchise should end at the right spot, regardless of box office returns. I still think they made a mistake continuing the Toy Story movies. I know Toy Story 4 made over $1 billion, and we're getting a fifth because of it, but from a story perspective, Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending. Indiana Jones didn't need a fourth or fifth movie, but they decided to make more underwhelming, unnecessary sequels anyway. By now, with horrific box office returns, I think it's safe to say that franchise is dead. Until they revive it in 15 years with a new actor. Hopefully, that flops too. Harry Potter and the Wizarding World ventured into prequel territory with Fantastic Beasts, but the more films they made, the quicker we realized we only liked this franchise when it focused on Harry and friends. I guess Warner Bros. Took that quite literally. And don't even get me started on Star Wars. This was the franchise that kickstarted the more the merrier phase. I was one of those people a long time ago who wanted a 7th Star Wars film, but as I got older and all the new Star Wars crap kept coming out, I wish they just stuck to the 6th film trilogy and Clone Wars animated series. So listen, if you're watching this video and are fed up with big studios milking our beloved franchises at every opportunity they get, send them a message with your wallet. Unless they have something truly amazing in the works, I don't see a need for another sequel. For me, I'm kind of in between a rock and a hard place. I desperately want movie theaters to make money through the box office so they can stay alive. Part of me is happy when big budget films do well because that means they're keeping the theater industry in business. However, I also don't want a third Ghostbusters movie. They've milked this franchise to the max and I hope it underperforms just so we don't get more films. I'm mostly ecstatic when non-franchise movies do wonders at the box office. Even if I'm not a huge Oppenheimer fan, I'm beyond glad it did amazing in theaters. Not only is it an original, one-off film, but it immensely helped theater chains all across the world. So to reiterate, keep the originality flowing. If a franchise is bankrupt on ideas, let it stay dead. Case in point, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And I don't care if in 25 years it's been a quarter of a century since the last movie. Studios seem to follow this ideology all the time where if it's been super long since the last film, even if a sequel or reboot aren't valid, they'll just make a new movie anyway for the new generation. I guarantee no matter how many times studios say a franchise and its actors are never returning, trust me, they're lying to you. Because at the end of the day, if they think it can make money, they'll do it, even if it tampers with great installments of the franchise's past. So please, Ghostbusters and all of you tired franchises, just die forever like the ghosts we see in this film. What are your thoughts on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire though? Was this a sequel you wanted? Or do you think this franchise, along with many others, should have been killed off long ago? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.